Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. President Joe Biden has barred migrants seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border if crossings exceed 2,500. That closure went into effect midnight. The ban is lifted when crossings lower the threshold, and there are exceptions: unaccompanied children and victims of trafficking. The United Nations says measures to manage migration must respect the right to seek asylum, and the ACLU says it will sue, calling the move a redo of a failed Trump-era asylum ban. Christopher Martinez reports.
I've come here today to do what the Republicans in Congress refuse to do: take the necessary steps to secure our border. Migrants will be restricted from receiving asylum at our southern border unless they seek it after entering through an established lawful process.
President Joe Biden's order is based on a bill negotiated 4 months ago, only to fail in Congress.
Because Donald Trump told them to. He told the Republicans, it has been published widely by many of you, that he didn't want to fix the issue. He wanted to use it to attack me. It's an extremely cynical political move.
Republican lawmakers were quick to blast Biden's move. Not all Democrats are on board either. Biden's order will likely face several legal challenges besides the ACLU's, but the Biden administration says it's on sound legal ground. And Biden says in the weeks ahead he'll be turning from talking about securing the border to talking about how to make the immigration system more fair and just.
Let's fix the problem. Congressional Republicans should do their part.
I'm Christopher Martinez.
Immigrant rights advocates have condemned the asylum ban. Lillian Serrano is executive director of the Southern Border Communities Coalition.
For now years, border communities have been asking for solutions to the challenges that we're seeing. What we're seeing is migrants arriving to our communities, seeking safety, and a federal government that seems to be unable or unwilling to process them in an orderly fashion. And what this announcement is doing is actually effectively attacking asylum, making it almost impossible for people to access that remedy, and really violating our human rights.
The order comes just days after Biden declared June National Immigrant Heritage Month, and ahead of his first presidential debate against Donald Trump. Biden is in France for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, where he'll join other world leaders to commemorate the invasion that helped bring an end to World War II. His arrival comes as Western alliances that were forged then are aiding Ukraine's defensive efforts against Russian aggression. In a new escalation, Ukrainian forces claim they've struck an S-300 air defense system inside Russia using Western-supplied weapons. FSN's Megumi Lim reports.
Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk posted a photo on Facebook purportedly showing the strike, with a comment claiming the attack was carried out days after permission was granted to use Western weapons on Russian territory. Last week, both the United States and Germany partially lifted a ban to allow Kyiv to use certain US and German-supplied weapons to strike at targets inside Russia, but only across the border from Ukraine's northeast Kharkiv region. Megumi Lim in Kyiv.
Israel's increased strikes in central Gaza. The health ministry reports 36 Palestinians were killed in the last 24 hours, 115 injured. The death toll is now topped 36,500 in more than 8 months of war. This is the United Nations are warning more than 1 million Palestinians in the Gaza Strip could experience the highest level of starvation by the middle of next month if hostilities continue. The World Food Program and Food and Agriculture Organization said in a joint report today, hunger's worsening because of heavy restrictions on humanitarian access and the collapse of the local food system brought on by war. It's also warned famine is underway in the north. Oxfam International Tuesday said 1.7 million Palestinians are now huddled in a fifth of Gaza with little to no access to limited humanitarian aid, and said constant Israeli strikes make aid deliveries nearly impossible. Speaking on the Senate floor Tuesday, displaying disturbing blown-up images of emaciated children who have starved to death in Gaza, independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders condemned the war and said he will boycott Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's U.S. visit to address a joint session of Congress.
To Speaker Johnson, that when you attend your fundraising dinners with your billionaire friends, and you eat your fine steaks and your lobsters and your other wonderful food, please remember these pictures from Gaza. These children and thousands more are the direct result of Netanyahu's policies.
Israel faces continued isolation on the global stage. The mayor of Nagasaki said he's withholding Israel's invitation to the annual peace ceremony commemorating the 1945 U.S. nuclear attack on Nagasaki. He said he's also calling Israel's far-right government to accept an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The Lebanese military says its soldiers shot and captured a gunman who attacked the U.S. embassy near Beirut after a shootout that injured an embassy security guard. Today's attack comes as tensions continue to simmer, where months of fighting between Hezbollah militants and Israeli troops have displaced thousands along the border. In the U.S., a Texas prosecutor says he's asking the state's Court of Criminal Appeals to reverse Governor Greg Abbott's pardon of a man who was convicted of murdering a Black Lives Matter protester, Garrett Foster. Daniel Perry was convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison for that murder in 2023. Abbott pardoned him last month. Here's Travis County DA Jose Garza.
The Board of Pardon and Paroles and the governor put their politics over justice and made a mockery of our legal system. And for that, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Perry had sent messages he wanted to kill looters, and on Facebook a month before the shooting wrote, "It's official, I'm a racist because I do not agree with people acting like animals at the zoo." I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.